All right, what is up, my brother? So in this video, we've got a sponsored request from a woman who's trying to save her marriage after she took the red pill. She's not happy, but seems like she's committed to try to sort out whatever the problem happens to be. So I'll throw this up on the screen and get right into this. She says, a stranger, a male, told me to take the red pill or blue pill. I researched the information and found your site. I'm a female that has taken the red pill, my own red pill, she says. Okay. I guess we'll get into that in a little bit. She says, it's a terrible thing. I wish I could unsee it. My husband is a pushover. One day, I just woke up after 13 years of marriage and 2 kids. I did not know what the problem was, but I knew we had a problem in our marriage. I was angry, depressed, overworked, tired my bridge broke. I was drinking too much. I gained weight. I had a nervous breakdown, and I was not who I wanted to be. I reflected on our lives. I told my husband the knowledge I was given. He blamed me for being the alpha and never allowing him the opportunity to be in charge. I'm just going to pause on that soundbite for a second. Spelled alpha wrong. Um, but a dude that's blaming his wife is not a alpha male, or probably is going to have some difficulty ascending to that status, simply because only weak men blame other people and don't take responsibility. So that soundbite tells me you're in for an uphill challenge right away. Anyway, so he blames her for being the alpha and never allowing him the opportunity to be in charge. I blamed him, saying, "We got the blame game. It's your fault. No, it's your fault, Bill. No, Mildred, it's your fault." I blamed him, saying, "You gave me no spell check, people." Gave me no choice, and I was forced to handle everything. Then I had a breakdown. I believe we are both correct. All right. Culprit, question mark, she says. SMV details. I am in my 30s, SMV score of 5.7. Is that a 5 or a 7 or 5.7? I don't know. We make the same amount of money. He's 5 years older. I'm better looking. He comes from a better family. He has a higher level of education. We have investments together, and I run my own business. She's a boss girl. She's a female entrepreneur. I rationalized this issue by believing it was created because I became a woman. I was no longer a young lady, but a woman now. A woman wants a man. I never realized men could look so different. One day, I started to notice a different type of man. Here it comes. I noticed how they carried themselves, respected themselves, etc. I became unattractive with how my husband let other people treat him. I'm going to just highlight and hover on that soundbite for a second. Women can't stand weak, incompetent, complacent men without backbones. She's saying it right here in her post. She married a guy who she doesn't have the capacity, it seems, to look up to, right? I've said this many times before. Women want to look up to a giant. It doesn't physically have to be an imposing giant like Jack and the Beanstalk, but you get the point, from that sound. It's she wants to look up to a guy, and she doesn't have any ability whatsoever to look up to her husband right now. Um, Now she's looking around and she's seeing what I'm assuming would be alpha males walking around, how they carry themselves, respect themselves, they don't tolerate bullshit, all that sort of stuff. And then she comes home and she looks at her husband, and he's not doing any of those things. She goes on to say, I thought I might be the reasons for this. Well, I'm going to tell you something, ma'am. You probably are, but I'm not blaming you for it. Women, if you haven't read my book, by the way, The Unplugged Alpha, women should read it too. I think it's comprehensive in all areas. But at the end of the day, um, I talk about a concept that was brought to my attention by a friend, Carl, a few years ago, called betatization through 1,000 concessions. And what women do is they inherently need to shit test men to know that they're the best possible guy that they can get. And the way they usually do it is something like, Bill, put your white socks in the white hamper and your dark socks in the dark hamper. And then it goes to, Bill, don't brush your teeth over there. You're going to get toothpaste on the carpet. Then it goes, Bill, blah, blah, blah. And then it turns into, let's go vegan together. And at some point later on down the road, it might turn into something like, I want an open relationship, or I love you, but I'm not in love with you, sort of thing. And it sort of evolves to that. But these betatizations through 1,000 concession points only happen because men let them happen. If men were to put their foot down at the point where, she's chirping on him, let's say for brushing his teeth somewhere where she doesn't approve, he would just look over his shoulder and continue brushing his teeth, doing what he was doing, looking at the window. The man's house is his castle. If there's a little bit of toothpaste that falls on the carpet, big whoop-de-doo, right? Clean it up, have a cleaner take care of it. You're going to have your floors clean on a regular basis anyway if you're sorted out. But you get the point. So saying that I thought I might be the reason for this is partially true, but the real reason why it happened was because your guy, your husband, didn't put his foot down and let this evolve into what it has become. And men have not been taught to become men anymore. They've been taught to become these soft, compliant, beta-tized, pussified men who just nod their head. And like, you hear it all the time, happy wife, happy life. No, it doesn't work that way. Women are not happy with men that continuously agree with everything they tell them to do. They become very, very dissatisfied with these guys. And I'm the only guy out here telling you this. Everybody else out there, in society, culture, religion, every aspect of life, they're telling guys to be softer, weaker, be more humble, stop being so masculine. If you're masculine, you're toxic masculinity, blah, blah, blah. So that's those are the inputs to where you're generally at today. She says, "Did I confiscate his manhood?" Um, Look, not intentionally, but to some degree, yeah. I mean, you're clearly a strong-headed woman. I'm going to guess you're probably a firstborn, because I mean, typically the vast majority of women that get into business as entrepreneurs are firstborn women. And yeah, you're more hard-headed. You're going to put your foot down. You mentioned above that you were forced to become the alpha in the relationship because he wouldn't take the lead. He blames you for that. So you're in a very interesting predicament right now. Did I stop him from growing into a man? No, he stopped himself. You probably did things that discouraged him because of societal programming. Basically, teaches men to be softer and weaker, and they tell women to be more masculine. Today's version of masculinity and femininity basically teaches women to be terrible versions of men, is what it boils down to, and men to comply. I'm very independent. I married him when I was 28. I have a strong personality, Sigma Alpha type, whatever. Look, women are always going on like, I'm an alpha female. No, you're not. The most alpha female out there doing whatever boss girl stuff she's doing can't even compete, can't even come close to the things that I've done. Okay. Like, ladies should stop calling themselves alpha females and boss girls and boss bitches and all that sort of stuff. Because one, it's not attractive. You're not going to find a strong, virtuous man that's going to want to invite you into his life. If you're walking around being disagreeable and bossy and I'm a Sigma Alpha type, you're not. You're a woman. Embrace your femininity. Lean into it and amplify that part of your life and start instead of listening to what society's lied to you about, which is women can do anything a man can do. Da, 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 da. No, you can't. We're very different, but we're complementary. She goes on to say, did we marry the wrong personality type? So this is usually tied into where couples, women, men, hear these, well, if you take your personality test, or if you're, what's the other one? The five love languages, which they've completely disproved, have nothing to do with the success of long-term relationships. It's bullshit. Yeah, there's going to be some conflict in personality types, but there's no such thing as, well, my love language is words of affirmation, and his love language is gifts and whatever, upside down, whatever. You get the point, though. Like, people, society, culture has made this up to try to answer questions. Like, most people are sheep seeking a shepherd, if we're being honest. I've got good answers and good useful information in my book. My follow-up book's going to have even more tied into that sort of notion. But yeah, did we evolve differently? Yeah, absolutely. Men and women have completely evolved differently. If you want to learn more about the evolution of the sexes, a great book by David Buss is called The Evolution of Desire. Read it. I've gone through it several times. I think it's a great read. I've recommended it often. My husband is sweet, kind, loving, and he's a great father. Right, but you don't want to bang him enthusiastically, right? What you're basically describing is a mom. Sweet, kind, loving, and a great, instead of father, swap it out to mother. So you basically married a soft version of a male. He's one of the best people I've ever met. Everyone wants to protect my husband because he is so kind, but can he protect himself? My question is, how can I help him be the best man he can be? How do I get him to protect me? Oh boy, this is where we're going to get interesting, eh? I want my husband to become his own man. I'm invested in making our marriage work. We have children together. It's just hard to watch how other men in his life treat him. It's hard to sit back and build my feminine side when I'm forced to be in charge of our operation. How can I help him without making him feel worse? I feel like a terrible person feeling like this. Thank you for your time. All right. Well, look, this is not going to be easy for you to fix. Therapy won't fix it. You're not going to get what you want from there. You know, if I'm being honest, this is something that he has to want to take charge for himself. And if he's drunk on the Kool-Aid society has sold him, with the narratives being around be compliant, be humble, be sweet, stand on your dots, wear your mask, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, like one of these compliant sheeple. You know who they are over the last couple of years. You're going to have a very, very hard time getting them to stand up straight, be masculine, be competent. Was one of the things you said to protect you. Does he even know how to fight? Like, has he ever taken any kind of combat sports? A good place for him to start, but he's going to have to want to do it. Is I want to learn how to fight. Like, I got to the realization at some point a few years ago, I was like, okay, I'm strong. I've been lifting weights my entire life. I can bench 3 plates aside, squat this and that. Good, but do I really know how to fight? Right. And then I came to the realization, okay, well, I have to take ownership for that, because what's the point in having a strong masculine physique if you don't know how to use it, if you can't defend yourself or defend people that you love? So I signed up and I started taking combat sports, Krav Maga, kickboxing, boxing. I'm more focused on boxing now. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll see my dues paid posts on my stories often. So, the thing being is, like, you have to want that. Does he want that? Does he want to lead the household? Does he want to be a man? Because him just saying, "Oh, I blame you for being the alpha, not letting me be the man," bullshit. It doesn't work that way. You have to want to, like, you have to take it. Alpha males take. They don't ask for permission. They take. Okay, that's just how it is. And that causes problems for people, because some people don't like the fact that guys do that. And that's where a lot of these narratives around be humble, be kind, be soft, be more agreeable. No, a strong, virtuous man that you see walking around today, the ones that you described here in your posts, um, that don't take crap, they carry themselves differently, they're respected by others, they're probably assholes. I've said before, assholes are the men that get things done in the world, and they don't intend to go around being called assholes, but that's a label that gets thrown their way when they set boundaries and they don't take bullshit from society, from culture, from their spouses, from their kids, from family. You ask anybody in my family, and they'll exactly describe that as me, right? I've had disagreements with my parents. I've had disagreements with my siblings. Um, we may not agree on how things should be done or are, but I don't care. And they may not like my response to it, but again, I don't care. Getting to that point takes a lot of internal work. It takes a lot of self reflection. It takes a lot of self ownership. How do you get better results in life? You hold yourself to higher standards. You set the bar higher for yourself. You set the bar higher for your family. You set the bar higher in your relationships. You set the bar higher for income. You just set the bar higher. And if a guy says, "Well, that's not my fault. That's your fault because you wouldn't let me be the alpha or you ran things." And what did you say over here? He blamed me for being the alpha. There's no such thing as an alpha female. Again, I'll say it again, and I'll keep saying it into the future. There's no such thing. There's just women pretending to be men, and it's not attractive to men. It is not going to serve women, but it's an unfortunate consequence of society today. Because when you tell guys to be pushovers, which is essentially what we've done, and when you tell women that they can do anything a man can do, which they essentially try to do now, then you end up in this disproportionately imbalanced sort of relationship dynamic where guys are pussified and and women have to become the alpha female of the household, and they're because they're forced to handle everything. So look, to answer the question, where do you start? I would start by giving him my book. I don't say this very often, but if he takes it and reads it and goes through it, then you're going to have a guy that's going to have basically taken the proverbial red pill and unplugged from society's lies, if he accepts it. The next step then is to start doing the work. If you're overweight, I'm assuming he's overweight. Women are beauty objects, men are success objects. Is he going to become the success object in the house? Is he going to put his foot down? Is he going to run the household? Are you going to let him, to some degree as well? Are you going to lose the weight? Are you going to lighten up on the drinking issues that you have? Like taking the bull by the horn attitude that you have in life, where you're an alpha female and blah, blah, blah sort of thing. run your business, do whatever it is that you want to do, but understand that you need to embrace your feminine side, and he needs to take ownership for the pussified version of himself that he's become and fix that. And any guy can fix it if they want to. Go to the gym, pick up heavy shit, put it down, learn combat skills, make more money, be more competent in the house, say no to your wife, say no to your kids. Are you going to like that? Probably not. I don't know that you're going to like what he would have to become. I know that you like what the alpha male is. That's very clear, because I mean, you state here that when you see a guy walking around that carries himself right and he doesn't take bullshit from the world, that you look at that you see that and you admire that. But are you capable of letting go of the alpha female sort of persona that you think that you need to own and letting a guy lead? I haven't seen that successfully changed in many relationships. I've been doing consults for several years now. I've talked to a ton of men. Probably about 5% of my calls are with women. And I've done a few couple calls where I've had them both on the call at the same time, sort of talking about scenarios like this. I haven't seen it. It's like the probability of this changing in a direction where you want it to be is relatively slim. But with that being said, anything is possible. I mean, if you want, I'm happy to hop on a call with both of you, but you both are gonna want to have to do something about it. He's gonna want to have to hear, stop being fat, lazy, and incompetent, and take ownership for your life. Make more money, learn combat sports. He's gonna want to have to listen to that and accept it. And you're gonna have to listen to, stop being so disagreeable, so bossy. Let him take ownership for things. I mean, one of the things that I see, and I've noticed this trend a lot lately too, is there's a lot of what appear to be married couples, because there's kids in the back seat, driving around in society. I just came back from a long 6-day rally. We were down to the Adirondack Mountains. And, I'm very observant of behaviors and things all around different parts of the world and country, sort of thing. And one of the things that I've always noticed over the last few years is a lot of women are driving the cars, and the dude is sitting in the passenger seat and the kids are in the back seat. Now, look, kids stay in the back seat. It should be that way. Strap them in safely. But why are you letting your wife drive the car? Is it her car? Is it because, I don't know, your foot's sore? Why are so many men letting their wives drive their car? If you do this one thing, guys, if you take the car keys and you say, no, I'm driving the car, hop in the passenger seat, you ride shotgun. Change that one thing if you want to improve the dynamic of your relationships. I don't even care if it's your car, if it's her car. Like, even if I go out, if my girlfriend's car is parked behind mine and we're just going to take hers, she doesn't even like get anywhere near the driver's seat. She just hands me the car keys, hops in the passenger seat, and waits for me to get in the car to drive it away. That's the way things should be. That's an operative dynamic that will set the tone in the relationship about who is a man and who is a woman. I know it might seem complex. Some people might say, "Oh, that's misogynist," and that's you're right. It's not. It's a fact of life. It is a fact of life. Start with those things that I've offered you here in this video. I'm sure there's a lot of guys watching this right now, even women perhaps, that might offer some further feedback in the comments. Do so below. Also, take a look at my Unplugged Alpha podcast. It's on every Monday night on my YouTube channel, The Unplugged Alpha. Just search for it on YouTube, or it's pinned below in the top comment with the other useful links, and watch that. You can also call into that show as well. I do live free consults in that show every Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you can check that out as a resource. And again, pinned in the top comment, a bunch of useful links. Check it out. You want to grab my book, make a request like this, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.